The first thing I do after I wake up is I take the pen that's on my nightstand and the pad of paper on my nightstand, and I write down the time in which I woke up. I do sleep with my phone in my room. I realize this is considered a sin and has certain hazards associated with it, but I put my phone on airplane mode about an hour before I go to sleep, and then I set my alarm typically for 6:30 a.m., and some days the alarm wakes me up. Other days I wake up before the alarm. And yes, some days the alarm goes off and I hit snooze a few times, and then usually by 7 a.m. I am up and out of bed. The reason for writing down what time I wake up is because I want to know that average wake-up time. That average wake-up time informs what's called my temperature minimum. It tells me when my body temperature was lowest. The temperature minimum is the time in each 24-hour cycle that your body temperature is lowest. I don't sleep with a thermometer in my mouth or elsewhere, and I don't think you should either. Instead, I know that the lowest temperature that my body will be at across the 24-hour cycle tends to be 2 hours before my typical wake-up time. And I want to know that number. It's called our temperature minimum. So if you're somebody that typically wakes up at 8 a.m., then your temperature minimum is sometime around 6 a.m. Remember, the temperature minimum is a time in the 24-hour cycle. I don't care what my actual temperature is. I care when my lowest temperature is. And I know that that lowest temperature is approximately 2 hours before my average wake-up time. So I highly recommend that you write down when you wake up or track that in some way that works for you and use that as a reference point to determine your temperature minimum. We will return to the temperature minimum and how you can leverage the temperature minimum for several things. Shifting your clock, shifting your circadian sleep schedule and wake schedule. Also for shifting your eating schedule, etc. We will return to that. But even if you don't travel, even if you don't care about things like jet lag, even if you sleep fabulously all year round, never have a poor night's sleep, knowing your temperature minimum, that time when your temperature is at its lowest point, is a valuable thing to know.